Hello everyone, especially to One Piece fans. In this video, I'm going to rank each of the Straw Hats from my least favorite to my favorite one. Now, this is just my personal opinion. I personally like all of the Straw Hats, but I just happen to prefer some over others. That's all. We all have our favorite characters and our a bit less favorite. So, without further ado, here it go. Number 10. Now, starting with number 10, the very last place, we have Jinbei. Now, don't get me wrong, Jinbei is awesome, a great character. But, but he's my least favorite Straw Hat. Why? Well, first of all, he came way late in the party, and I got used to seeing him more as a warlord from a warlord than as a than as a member of the Straw Hat crew. So I can't help but still view him as a bit of an outsider. While characters like Trafalgar Law and Carrot sometimes came across more as Straw Hats than Jinbei does. That being said, Jinbei is a pretty awesome character. He's extremely strong, intelligent, has a lot of has a lot of emotional baggage, and he's of course the crew's helmsman. So nothing against Jinpei, he's just not used to wait for it. Number 9, Frankie. Now, I'm sure you all remember that Frankie was at first came across as an antagonist when we first met him. And he had that him and his family had an issue with Usopp, and then Luffy, Zoro and Sanji beat the shit out of the Frankie's family, the male members. So Frankie got pissed off and challenged Luffy for a fight. Anyway, throughout the Water 79 and Lobby arc, Frankie, as we all know, ended up becoming an ally, and then ended up becoming a member of the Straw Hat group. Now, Frankie's very, how should I say, Frankie's is very loud, extroverted character. He's also he's also the shipwright, which is something the Straw Hats really need at the time. Usopp might be a bit of a handyman, but he's not a shipwright, as Luffy told him, and they had an issue with that where Usopp almost left the crew, as you all remember. Anyway, back to Frankie. Frankie is very Frankie. The coolest thing about Frankie is is the weapons he makes, and he's just like he's pretty much turned into if before he was just if before the time skip he was just a human being with some robotic like features. Now he's pretty much nearly full robotic, and I'm sure he'd be glad to hear this. That's like the biggest compliment you can give Frankie. Frankie is also pretty funny when he yells super, and he's also surprisingly a softie when it comes to his emotions. Like when he begins crying, instead of feeling bad for him, you just kind of laugh because it sounds so over the top and funny. Now as for fights, I'd say Frank's best fight was against Senior Pink Dressrosa arc. Definitely, that was that was a very manly fight between two hard-boiled characters. I think we all love that fight, and at the end, Frankie even said he would like to have a drink with him someday. So that was a fight when both opponents sort of became friends, so to speak. So yeah. Now why Frankie is number 9 only? Well, well, I guess Frankie is just can be just a bit over the top for me at times. So that's why he's a bit low, but nothing personal besides that. Number 8, Soul King Brook. Now, Brook is a very interesting character in the sense that since that he has a very tragic backstory where where he's in, where he died and so his entire crew, but he resurrected as a skeleton, guys, due to his devil fruit, and he also got separated from his whale whale friend Laboon, which I'm sure he'll meet at the end of One Piece. Probably has the most realistic and easily attainable dream. Let's face it. Laboon is protected by Crocus, so anyway, Brook is a surprisingly jovial and and fun-loving character for such a tragic backstory he has. Uh, also, you kind of feel sorry for him not just because of that, but because well, he's like a he's like a 3 meter tall walking talking skeleton. People are scared shitless of him in fighting creepy, which is very unfortunate. But Brook doesn't let it affect him beyond punctual situations. Now, Brook is actually a pretty good swordsman. We all know that Zoro is the best swordsman. He's one of the best swordsmen in the world, and that Mihawk is the greatest swordsman in the world. But Brook is also a swordsman, and people tend to forget that. And he's also pretty good at it. That being said, Brook is also known. Brook is kind of underrated when it comes to fighting. He's also not exactly the strongest member of the crew. He's more he's more known for his musical skills since he's the crew's musician, Sulking Brook. Anyway, Brook also has a gag which he's asking the female characters if you can see their panties, which and also when he talks about himself physically, saying that, like for example, oh my eyes are about to pop out, even though I don't have eyes. There's always a variation of that. He's gag. Now, why Brook is ranked number 8? I don't have really a particular reason to rank him rather low. I just like other characters better. That's it. That's it. Also, Brook's best moment was during the Whole Cake Island arc, where he got a copy of the Poneglyph, and he faced Big Mom, even though he really risks his life when he did that. So props to Brook. Number 7, Tony Shop. Chopper is, well, the mascot of the Straw Hat Pirates. That being said, Chopper is not just a mascot, he's also the doctor of the group, and a very good doctor to boot. Chopper is also known for being cute and he's pretty much the most well-liked member of the crew, I would say. Everyone loves Chopper. No one is mean to him ever. He's he's like he's like a little kid, so everyone is nice to him, both the guys and the girls. Chopper, Chopper has a very sad backstory, where he got discriminated against for being some sort of a freak because he's a talking reindeer, which people also mistake him for a raccoon. But regardless, I guess the fact he's a talking animal makes people think he's some sort of a freak. And PC Chopper has a very good heart, and he's more human than a lot of people in the One Piece universe. So, Chop, Chopper's attacks are actually quite interesting when he takes those rumble balls and and he uses the various points like heavy point, guard point, and sometimes he goes ape shit and goes out of control, which can make him very scary. The funniest thing about Chopper is, well, how he tries to hide the fact that he actually loves to get praised. You can see how embarrassed he was. And also and also his bounty is also the lowest of all the Straw Hats by far because the world government just thinks he's their pet or something and does not realize how important he actually is to the crew. So that's kind of a running gag in the series, and it's impossible to not like Chopper. He's just very kind and also very cute. Chopper's greatest moment, though, I would say when he I would say when he administered an antidote in the one arc to the to the dozens or hundreds of poison people, and also in the Punk Hazard arc where he helps those kids. So yeah, Chopper is awesome. So why is he only number seven, you might ask? Yeah, well, in a crew where I like everyone, it's really hard to come up with a ranking, really, except for maybe the top three. Number six, Usopp, also known as Sogekik. Now, Usopp is kind of polarizing among One Piece fans, I've noticed, because they're annoyed by his cowardice for a huge chunk of the series. That being said, I've always liked Usopp ever since the beginning because he came across as quite realistic in the sense that he wasn't super strong or had a devil fruit power or anything, and he was just a guy who wanted to go out on an adventure, but despite the fact he was very scared of it. That being said, Usopp has always shown a lot of creativity when he as a handyman and as a maker of weapons, of small weapons, and his gag of flying has always been pretty funny as well. I particularly like his relationship with Chopper, where Chopper gullibility believes everything Usopp tells him, which is which is pretty funny and cute. Anyway, Usopp has definitely grown since the time skip. He became braver and also stronger. As for Usopp's best moments, I would say during the Dressrosa arc, where he shot that where he shot that grape into Sugar, which knocked her out, and thus made the toys the people had been trained to toys go back to being human. So yeah, that's I'd say that's Usopp's greatest moment in the series, and also Usopp really admires giants, and it will be fun to see him in Elbaf. I'm sure he'll have some good moments there as well. But Usopp barely misses the top five, which is a pretty respectable position to be number six. Number five. Now let's get on to the top five. Vince Milk Sanji. This is how we begin our top five. Now, Sanji, where do I begin? Sanji is a kick-ass fighter with his powerful kicks. Kicks when he gets in the zone really serious. You don't want to mess with him. Also, Sanji is also the crew's cook, and basically he's a world-class cook and chef. He learned it at Parity from Zeph, who was basically his adoptive father. Now, as for Sanji's backstory, at first when you watch or read One Piece, you don't think that much of it compared in comparison to the other characters' backstories. Like, yeah, sure, it's sad, but it doesn't hit that deeply. But you get told that Sanji is originally from North Blue, which instead of his blue like every other Straw Hat, which which seemed a bit odd, but I really didn't think much of it until it gets mentioned later when when he's actually from a very powerful royal family that thinks smokes. That's when we learn his last name, and he was treated very poorly by his father and his male siblings because he wasn't that as strong as as the rest of them. But his sister Reiju treats him better, as does Sanji's mother, who was very kind. So Sanji eventually leaves the family and goes to East Blue. Sanji's Sanji's gag biggest personality trait is the fact he's a big womanizer. He loves every woman in the series. well, provided she's good looking. Like he never says anything good, and he never acts romantic towards Dr. Kureha from Chopper's Village, for example. And Sanji, some people criticize Sanji for being a bit of a pervert, but that's just a big that's just a classic character archetype. Let's face it. All of them series have their own token pervert character. So Sanji begins to start the top five because I just like the other four better. That's it. And Sanji does have his annoying moments, like when he begins losing a lot of blood, especially in the Fishman Island arc. He's got a little bit overboard. So that's it. Number four, Nami. Now, now I must say this. I love Nami. She's awesome. Awesome. When you first meet Nami, she's just a mere uh, thief who steals from pirates. But then you get to know her backstory during the Arlong Park arc, and it's impossible not to fall in love with her character and her as a human being. Nami Nami is the crew's navigator. They wouldn't be able to go anywhere without her even. So she's actually one of the most important members of the crew, even though she's not exactly the greatest fighter, although she did learn very well how to fend for herself with her weather baton and her weather pile, and also getting Zeus from stealing him from Big Mom, which is pretty cool. Now Nami's gag is her love for money. She's like the One Piece version of Scrooge McDuck. She grew up dirt poor and was traumatized by it. So and also as a pirate, it makes sense that she's greedy for gold. Let's face it. That being said, Nami does not put money and gold above her friends and family. She was willing to spend all of it to save Kami from the slave from the slave traders in the Sabaody Park, and she also will never betray the Straw Hats to join the more powerful and wealthy crew, which are there are plenty in the world of One Piece. Nami is also one of the most intelligent characters in the series. I think I believe even Oda himself says so, and she's the third most intelligent person in East Blue. Nami has probably the most common sense of all the Straw Hats. So she basically she basically is there to keep an eye on the boys not to act too reckless and to remember what's at stake. Why she's only fourth? Well, the top three, as you know, is very hard to compete against. Number three, Monkey D. Luffy. Now, what can I say about Luffy that hasn't already been said by millions of people? Well, Luffy is well the main character of One Piece series, as we all know, and starting with his personality, he's incredibly goofy and he's quite stupid and also a big eater, so which is very stereotypical as far as shonen heroes go. He's Oda clearly is a big fan and draws inspiration from Akira Toriyama, the creator of the Dragon Ball series, and Luffy is clearly based on Goku. Now, Luffy shines when it comes to getting serious. He hates injustice and will get really angry if people hurt or make his friends cry. Right? That's where Luffy's strength lies. He's type of fruit power, the gum fruit. Fruit is the kind of fruit is the kind of fruit power that pretty much only works on him. It won't work on anyone else, I'd say. Luffy is definitely the strongest and the best fighter in the Straw Hats. He's their captain after all, and he's the main character, so it makes sense. Luffy has so many awesome fights, and it's always satisfying when he defeats the main boss at the end, near the end of each major arc. So yeah, it's impossible to dislike Luffy if you're a fan of One Piece. If you did, then you'd have to ask yourself why are you even watching or reading One Piece in the first place, really. So now you might be wondering, since Luffy is the main character of One Piece and gets the most screen time by a wide margin, why the hell are you only ranking him number three? Well, Luffy does have a few of his annoying moments, and I just happen to like the personality of the next two characters, a bit more. That's all. Those two have pretty much nothing that I dislike about them. Not a single moment where I got annoyed by them. So that's why. Number two, Nico Robin. Now the Devil's Child. Now I love Nico Robin even more than I love Nami. Now where do I even begin? Nico Robin, being first, kind of like Frankie, she comes across as a bit of an antagonist at first, but she never gets to actually fight any of the Straw Hats, and actually gives them a few pointers. If I recall, during the Alabasta arc, she tells them to go a certain path because it's faster and safer or something like that, and she also pulls Luffy off the quicksand, thus saving his life, which then Luffy ends up saving her life as well. But Robin was not happy with that, and as punishment, demands Luffy to let her join their crew. And unlike Frankie, they the rest of the crew doesn't isn't that welcoming to her at first because they think she wants to avenge the Baroque works and Crocodile. That being said, she quickly conquers everyone's hearts except for Zoro, who during the Water 7 arc even says that he never trusted her in the first place. Now, Rico Robin is a highly intelligent woman. She's quite an intellectual. I'd say she's the most intelligent member of the crew. She's very well educated, and she's the only one who can read poneglyphs in the crew. She's also a very strong fighter with the Devil Fruit. She's very practical and very scary when used at her best, at her best, at her fullest. And personality-wise, Robin is very rational, but also has a good heart and very nice, and has a very dark sense of humor, which is kind of scary for other characters. But that's just how she is. I personally think it's awesome, and of course, needless to say, she's a beautiful woman. I mean, Nami is as well, but Robin is just the most beautiful woman in all of One Piece. The only reason she's only number two is because there's another character which is my utmost favorite, which you all know who he is by now, and let's go on to it. And it's finally time for number one, Roronoa Zoro. Didn't see that coming? Yeah, I'm sure you did. Maybe not at the beginning of the video, but yeah, he was the only one left. Now Zoro is just awesome. I'm a sucker for badass characters, and Zoro is one of the best badass characters of all time. I mean, I love everything about him, from his seriousness to his courage to his kick-ass swords moves, attacks, and also his banter with Sanji, his respect for Luffy, his his banter with Nami, and the fact that he even has a little bit of a heart since he's always nice to Chopper. So and he's quite concerned when Robin gets attacked by Enel in the Skypiea arc. Zoro has so many legendary moments that it's impossible for me to just pick one. He's I don't even know where to begin, but pretty much every Zoro fight is awesome. He's awesome. He's pretty much he's pretty much the second in command of the Straw Hats crew. He's definitely the strongest one after Luffy. The the big three are Luffy, Zoro, and well, now it's Jinbei, I believe. He surpassed Sanji. So now, so now that's the Master Three's trio is Luffy, Zoro, and Jinbei. Okay, so yeah, not much else I can say. Zoro is just awesome. Awesome. I mean, he's definitely my favorite One Piece character overall, not just my favorite Straw Hats. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching it, and don't forget to subscribe.